Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 10 of the wonderful Wubulous Project Zomboid. Episode 10. That means I need to make new thumbnails. I'm a scumbag and I only made 9 thumbnails. I was like, I'm never gonna live past 9 episodes, I'll only make 9 thumbnails. No, I'm just lazy. I only have to make some after I make this video. I just bonked my keyboard. Anyway, welcome back. Thank you guys for joining. I almost said hello survivors, but I really enjoyed seeing the Team Horde and Team Survivor hashtags last video. It's about 50-50. There's a lot of you that were all about the Survivors, and there were a ton of you who liked the old Horde names. So I've yet to make a decision. I do like the idea of keeping both around, and you guys kind of just claiming your team as you leave comments and watch the video. It does tickle me. It tickles my pickles slightly. Anyway, let's close these curtains. I don't know why they're open. Last episode, we did a little bit of barricading. We started finishing off the wall for our garden. A lot of just kind of maintenance around the house as we continue to ensure the safety of our own personal belongings. Oh, I didn't put everything away yet. That's silly of me. So that's what we're going to do now is kind of finish organizing where we left off because I didn't finish it off camera like a scumlord. And from here, we're going to continue doing what we've been doing and ensuring that we are safe. And that's kind of key. Now, a lot of you did have, not necessarily concerned, but a lot of you did say you want to see me do some city roaming and stuff. And I want to make sure you guys understand that there is definitely going to be, dangerous roaming around the city, and all good stuff. And I will be kind of going out on looting runs. But right now, it's just kind of still me setting up a safe house that I feel safe enough to come back to. If my safe house is not safe enough to come back to, me going out and having the ability to, and having the ability to come home to something that I can feel comfortable in and know that it's, safe while I'm gone, it's pointless. I want to make sure that my home is where I want it to be before I go wandering too far into the city and eventually get lost, which, if you don't know me too well, will happen. So, until that happens, I want to make sure that my house is safe while still making short, dirty little runs to the nearby neighboring houses and still claiming my nails and still encountering what little zombies may or may not be around. So be patient. It's definitely going to happen. I can't tell you when it's going to happen. It could be, this episode, next episode, but I'm not going to build a safe house and then just sit in it and go, okay, I'm good. Game over, guys. I'll just sit in this house until danger comes to me. I'm not that kind of guy. Besides the fact that eventually food would run out and I would have to go out eventually, my food supplies aren't good enough where I can just sit back on them. There may be, if I was to sit in the house and eat everything that I have maybe a week's worth of supplies, and that's saying that the power doesn't go out and my food starts to rot. If my food starts to rot, I have less than that. I have maybe 2 or 3 days worth of supplies, and the decent amount of food is going to be in the thicker zombie areas where a lot of the stores are and the bigger houses are. That's where a lot of the good food is going to be. The reason we haven't seen a huge amount of loot distribution out here is because we're in a rural area, and rural areas aren't really known for having a lot of loot out. That's just how the game works. So it forces you to go into those more dangerous areas the more you play the game. So keep that in mind. That don't worry, we're not going to be playing it safe. I barely consider what I'm doing safe now. I'm actually considered where I am lucky that the zombies have yet to come across and just destroy everything I have, because we have yet to attract attention with the loud construction that we've had going on here in the house. So again, with that in mind, let's continue doing what we're doing. Oh, our pop bottle's empty. Let's actually go ahead and fill it up off these bottles right here. We'll have a good drink, and then we'll fill up our empty bottle. Make sure that we don't have any thirst before we end up filling up our bottle. And we'll continue doing what we were doing, which is good for us. Now, I was told you can click on the logs and loot them, but I don't see them popping up. So I'm going to go ahead and just do what I was doing and walk over them in a precarious way. Again, small little UI things that are mildly inconvenient now will get kind of smoothed out in the long run. But now that the game is where it is in a much more functional state, I think getting the NPCs and the 3D engine is going to be much more important. So I'm not really worried about UI tuning. Not yet, anyway. Where we are is good. Alright, good. So let's continue, like I said, doing what we've been doing, continuing to finish up our garden, get a garden going. With the garden going, we of course are going to have fresh food, but it's not going to be as reliable as, as going out and getting food is going to be. And the reason for that, in case you want to worry, but like, Mathis, why are you talking about going to loot food when you're going to be going out and gathering food from all kinds of different places, or when you're going to have a garden rather growing food. Well, eventually the water's going to turn off, and we're going to run out of water soon enough. And rain is not going to be an all the time thing. We're actually going to run out of rainwater eventually too, with like dry spells and cold weather being. The winter season seeing a lot less snow, or rain rather. You're not going to see as much rain falling. In fact, we haven't seen rain fall in a little while as it is. So with that in mind, we're going to need to constantly go out and get food, as it were. It's just kind of one of those things that are going to be necessary. So food runs, even when we have a garden up and running, is going to be something we're going to need, just because water is not going to be prevalent. Again, everything in this game is consistently working against you, little by little. You're going to eventually see the safety around you crumble because one thing or another is going to fall apart. And I want to make sure this episode, and this series rather, is an exciting one for you to watch. So even if things were, for some reason, incredibly safe beyond me really needing to go out anywhere, I'm still going to go out and adventure, because the fun of this series is to explore my surroundings and live in those surroundings and adventure in some respect. So we're still doing good. I am not bringing everything off here quite yet. I actually want to finish building this wall before I start hauling logs back and forth. Once the wall is finished, then I'll worry about that. 5 logs, okay. I'm only doing 2 at a time because it's a lot safer for me to do it that way. I don't weigh myself down incredibly, and I can build what I need. I could probably do 3 at a time safely, so let's just do 3 at a time for now. And we could do 3 walls that way, of course. Constantly looking around, manning my surroundings. I prefer to face this way. Near the trees, because if they do sneak out through the trees, it's going to be the more dangerous area. I'm not going to see them coming. As long as I know there's nobody directly behind me, I'm pretty safe, because they're not going to leap at me or in any such fashion. All right, so we got 9. We got 9 here. We can go ahead and place some walls. I even might do some of the hauling off camera, because construction itself can be kind of exciting. You get to see how it works, you get to see the improvement of the house kind of unfold in front of your eyes. But hauling things is really not all that exciting, and I don't know if I actually want to show you guys the hauling on camera all the time. If there wasn't much to haul, then maybe, but I just think generally speaking the hauling is not entirely all that exciting. Alright, let's build another wall here, and then we need 1 more here. And I think we're good. Then we can just kind of do 1. Alright, I kind of have to figure it out. I have to figure it out eventually. Still have 9 nails. I don't think we'll need more than 3 more walls, so we'll go ahead and do that. Now, so one of the things I'm doing here is not building a door to the garden. And the reason I'm not building a door to the garden, as I've said before, is because the door is much more easily broken down, especially as our walls get better and better and we end up replacing walls with better constructed walls. Doors are just not going to be as reliable as the walls are going to end up being. But there's a downside to this, and there's always going to be pros and cons to everything you do in this game. There's never going to be something that's going to be 100% safe. So the con of building the farm and building a completely walled-in farm is that if I end up ever having a horde surround me, maybe overnight while my character's sleeping, and I wake up to my windows being banged on, and I come outside, and there's just a butt ton of zombies all around, my only exit is going to be the wall, being the garden. And if I can't get through the wall, if I don't have a sledgehammer or my axe doesn't do it, because I'm not entirely sure if axes can break down these walls, though I think they can. If I don't have that opportunity to break everything down, I'm cornered. I can't do anything. I could be, potentially screwed completely, and I could back myself in a corner. I'm just going to get eaten alive. That is obviously something that can happen, and that's something I'm going to need to. I kind of had to weigh when I decided if I'm going to build this garden completely walled in or not, and I made the decision that that's how I'm going to do it. All right, so we are almost done. We are almost fully up to 300, so that's good. We do have a fully walled in garden now, so we can start doing. We could start doing some gardening. The thing is, I don't think we have everything we need for gardening yet. I think we need trowels, which we are going to have to go and loot out, I think. Because we don't have... Have I put the gardening tools elsewhere? I must have. So we have a gardening spray here. And that's it as far as tools are concerned. Are you kidding? So, that's actually unfortunate. We can't do any gardening yet. We have to go out looking for these tools. So that's going to be our next gig, which is really unfortunate because it's incredibly dangerous. So we're going to go ahead and eat this eggplant, And we're gonna go ahead and empty some of our inventory, and we're gonna go ahead and start looking for necessary tools, I guess, to garden, which is really shitty. I thought we had everything except for a trowel. I was also really wrong. Alright, so we're not gonna bring the axe. We're gonna go ahead and store the axe. It's just gonna weigh us down. We'll keep that bowl of water just in case. The saw can stay. The hammer can stay. The bat is gonna hang on with us. Where's our secondary bat? Is that inside somewhere? Let's go look for our secondary bat. We're gonna need that secondary bat very shortly. It's probably over here. Yep, there it is. So we're gonna go ahead and take the secondary bat, and we'll probably bring a little bit of food with us as well to ensure that we have something to eat on the off chance that we don't actually run across anything. And what better thing to bring on a road trip than beef jerky? So we're looking pretty good as far as I can tell. We're carrying a little bit of extra water, but that's needed. We're going to make sure all doors are shut. One of the things you can do that I actually didn't show off is these walls you can actually barricade, just like you can barricade the windows. So you can always barricade these walls, which gives them extra strength. And you can barricade doors as well. I just don't like to barricade doors very often because it kind of limits your escape route. And you want to make sure that you always have an escape route at the ready. Even if it means a weakness in your house in general by having another door that the zombies can bang down, that's not really something you want to worry about because zombies are always going to find something they can bust through one way or another. So having that as a weakness, quote-unquote, is something you kind of have to just accept. Now, we need to kind of find our general access point. We need to start finding our general farming tools, rather. Now, I can't remember if this has to be a house I've been in. Door's open. Unlocked, rather. But it's not... So, here's a thing that you guys should probably see. The food typically has 3 states. Fresh, before rotten, and rotten. And fresh is obviously, is pretty obvious. It provides no penalties whatsoever. It doesn't get you sick, and there's no chance of food poisoning. Then there's the middle. So there's fresh food, then there's just regular, like, watermelon. And you can see the watermelon's still going to give you a good hunger and really quench your thirst. But it's going to start adding boredom and unhappiness. And the reason for that is because it's starting to go bad. You can imagine that parts of the watermelon are a little too soft. Maybe not necessarily tasting as fresh. It's getting a little warm. And then there's the rotten stage. So it doesn't go just from fresh to rotten. Things have an in-between state. Keep that in mind when you're looting. Because you want to make sure that you are able to get stuff that that is not necessarily going bad. Or if you are, know what state it's in. I did have people asking that. Is there a way to tell if something's going rotten? And there very much is. A lot of non-perishables in here. We are going to take all of them. And we're going to continue searching this house. Because obviously I either didn't search this house well enough, or I didn't search it at all. Whoop! Maybe that's why. Oh, it's a crawler. Whoop, we're going to have to back up. Woo, buddy. Crawlers are incredibly dangerous, as I've told you before, because they can have a quick reaction time. But we did get in here. School bag is nice. Pants, not necessarily. Maybe if we had no bandages to work with. Alright, we're good. Dead rat. Rotten, uncooked dead rat, which is even worse. There are dead rats in the game if you do run out of food sources. But generally speaking, if you're running out of food sources, you're eating your own rotten food at this point. Okay, there's a couple zombies up here. Alright, let's kind of come down here and wait and see if they show up. Here she comes. But he's not going to do anything. Okay, come on. There we go. No, let's go. I do want you down here. He's just going to bang on the window. Are they both banging on the window? They are. I keep missing, which is bothering me. There's 2. We can kind of deal with them as a whole here. A little bit nervous. I hate dealing with them on the stairs. It's generally a very dangerous practice. He stopped, which is why I backed up, because he stopped banging on the window. Okay, back up. There we go. Got him. Now the question is there another up here? Now this guy was potentially a crawler, which is why I swung at him, but he's not. Okay, we cleared out at least the hallway. Hello. I am going to go ahead and do what I was doing before. Is just do the usual, knock on the doors, see if anybody comes running. Hopefully the answer is no. Give it a few minutes. Check the corpses of the zombie. We might actually end up sleeping in this house because of the time. We could go home, But the reason I don't necessarily want to go home is beta blockers. Is because they would just burn. They would just burn time. Making your home in other homes as you kind of explore is something you're going to end up wanting to do as you go further and further out. It's something I cover in my basics guide as well. I also need to start thinking about a secondary safe house, but I'm not going to worry about that until we find the city, because I'll probably make my secondary safe house within the city-like areas. It'll allow us quicker access to the city itself, obviously, and a good place to run to if we need it. It won't necessarily be in the city proper. It'll probably be on the outskirts of the city where we can kind of make an easy run in and out, but nonetheless, by the city is where we want to be. Okay. That was good. Let's go ahead and open this door. Now, we do have a zombie over there. You know what? Actually, I don't know why I'm doing that. Let's go ahead in here. What we're going to go ahead and do is close up the front door. Let's check the bookcase, if I didn't check it yet. Sheet of paper. We'll go upstairs, we'll close the curtains, we'll shut the door, and we'll have our character fall asleep for the evening. Double curtains in here, so we'll go ahead and close these up. Close curtains. Whoop, nope, that's not what I want to do. Close curtains. And we'll fast forward to about 8 o'clock. Okay. And we'll get our character to sleep right at the right time. And we're going to check the garage over to our north area, as well as the houses over there. We are getting a little hungry. We're going to make sure we eat the raw food that we brought with us. The beef jerky, I'm not entirely sure goes bad. Whether beef jerky in general goes bad, I'm sure it does over time. But not probably fast enough. Before we eat, let's fast forward to about 7 o'clock, because if we eat now, we'll just burn through that hunger strength bonus that we'll have for about an hour in game. There's no point in burning that. Did we get anything that's beef jerky? Let's eat part of the beef jerky then. I don't know if it goes bad, but I want to make sure that it, we'll eat it on the off chance that it does. We have some non-perishables we can go through afterward anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and open the front door and the back door. It's just going to tell me personally when I come across this that we have gone through it. Okay, so there is a chance that there was a gunshot that went off at night that my character didn't hear. Or just them having heard me running around in the house brought them over here. We do want to make sure we kill these two off. That did have me jumping. Where there is another one over there that's been wandering that we're going to have to keep an eye on. And it's raining, which is going to set us back a little bit. Wow, there's actually a good chunk of zombies making their way over here, which worries me that they might have actually heard me. So let's keep our eyes out and sneak. Now, granted, it's raining, which is a huge problem. Because the risk here is that we could go out and loot houses in the rain. But going into the houses in the rain brings about the danger of us moving slower because we're wet, as well as going to a place that's not necessarily safe. Or we could play it safe, wait in this house that we know we've cleared out, wait for the rain to stop. That way, if we do leave and go into a house that is infested and potentially too much for our character to handle right now, we could run out and not worry about being slowed down or grabbed by a zombie and bitten. Just the slowest amount of speed penalty could be your demise in this game. So, knowing when to kind of manage the rain itself just adds a whole different aspect to managing when you want to go out and looting and when you don't. Now, again, we know this house is safe. We could stay in here. We could stay quiet. We don't have to run. We don't have to fight. We don't have to search anything. We just can play it safe and spend another day here. Now, this is a problem because it's going to be a little bit of a drain on our current resources that we have with us. We're going to lose food. We're going to lose time. But generally, that's okay as long as it means your life. So we'll go ahead and speed up time. It might have actually stopped raining about an hour after we sat in the house. So we'll go ahead and check. If that's the case, that's good. It did stop raining, see? And sometimes the rain doesn't even last that long, so it's worth it. It's worth it. We only lost about an hour's time, and the drain on the resources that we brought are not even going to be noticed. Now, we need to find some gardening supplies. A trowel is going to be key. We can water the flowers or the crops pretty much any other way. We don't necessarily need a watering can, but we could still use one. We'll check these areas again, these garages that we've already obviously searched. Still worth checking in my opinion, because of how I end up looting. Now there is a breaking glass, which does worry me. I don't know where that came from. doesn't seem to be on this side, which it didn't sound like it was. It might actually have been a nearby house. Now, this is definitely a crawler. Yeah, see, my character is panicking, so he knows she's alive. So we can just go ahead and beat her down. Make sure she doesn't get back up. And we'll check this house. Now, if both doors are locked, which I have a feeling they are, it means we haven't been here yet. There's a zombie in there. I did catch a glimpse of him. So I'm going to go ahead and ignore this house for safety reasons. And check this one. But we won't break in here until next episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you hit a like. Comment again. What team are you guys on? You want the Horde to win out, or do you want the Survivors to keep on struggling? Thank you guys again so much for watching. As always, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join either the Survivors or the Horde. And I will see you all next time. I hear a zombie. Bye-bye.